Queen Salote's succession to the throne was rigorously opposed by the previous dynastic lines of leadership, who disputed the new system of constitutional rule. In the period of her reign, after the First World War, Tonga faced huge social and global upheavals under the leadership of the young Salote, whose position as queen was controversial from the very inception.
Not only was succession via a constitution still very much in its infancy, but then she was a woman, unheard of, right? And then she was her father's only child. So the actual succession to the throne of Tupo, was very, very, touchy.
She lived in a time where it was very difficult in Tonga to be a monarch and a queen. And there were still a lot of people who weren't very comfortable with that idea. And I think she pushed through that by creating opportunities for women. Like Langa Whonua, she established that herself. And also appointing nobles and people's representatives. I think she created a lot of opportunities. And she showed immense faith, I think, in what she did.
Steeped in the Tongan tradition, where the sister in the family holds the central significance, the whahu, Queen Salote was noted for recognising the modern change in attitudes towards women and cautioned against what she considered were male-centric whakapālangi ways, where Tongans aspired to a European lifestyle.
She used to take time off to call all the students together and explain to them what I now understand are the ways by which you developed your bicultural knowledge. Interpreting Palangi culture to Tonga back then was not easy because our only contact with the world was one ship a month.
Queen Salote was renowned for her promotion of a strong sense of Tongan national identity, and she made huge commitments, particularly to the education of young students. Her education initiatives extended outside the kingdom to students on scholarships studying in New Zealand, where she often visited. The event that famously endeared Queen Salote to the world was the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, when the Tongan leader rode through the crowds and, in deference to the young British Queen, didn't put the carriage roof up when it rained. Her public successes belied much of the private tragedy of her life, however. Her mother died when she was an infant and her father when she was 18. Queen Salote also lost her second son at birth. Moments often expressed in musical composition and poetry.
Most of her compositions were either before or after a certain loss in her life or bereavement. And I think she just concentrated on putting it to words and music. And everyone still listens to them up to today.
She would have me sleep beside her in my own bed when I was growing up, and I would watch her in the evenings sometimes when she was supposed to be sleeping, actually saying lyrics or making hand movements that would eventually become a dance song, something, because as a poet and as a composer, the tune, the word, the choreography came out of her simultaneously.
A gifted poet, she turned to songwriting as an outlet to express her feelings. She wrote more than 100 compositions, including songs, lullabies, recitals, laments, and drama.
So she composed the song, and then it gets given to the punakes, and they go out and find the tune, and they put the tune into it. And then they come back, and they sing it to her at the palace. So she listened, and then she will say, no, that doesn't fit there. The way you pronounce the word doesn't fit. So, and then they worked on it into perfection.
She composed from the heart and the language was deep. Her music broke down barriers in Tonga's hierarchical system.
To her, if I have to leave a legacy, I will have to leave it in some form of way. And she did this marvelous thing about putting her words of wisdoms in her composition. So every composition, it has a message. And that is why it's so deep. And she's very, very good at using the hierarchy, the metaphors, to tell things and give people wisdom.
Queen Salote's music is still performed around the world, and for many Tongans who live overseas, it's their link back home.
When you have to go to your roots, go to Queen Salote's music, and in there you will find your root. Because to me, that was one of her biggest legacy. Bringing everything into music and passing it on.
In 1965, Her Majesty passed away in Auckland and was laid to rest in Malaekula, Nuku'alofa. She may be gone, but her legacy lives on.